Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, I'm John Malice, and welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor on this Tuesday morning here from Ventura TV, Comcast Channel 187 and 43.6. Today we're going to be talking about the Downtown Convention Center and what it means to you, what it means to me, what it means to all of us here in the city of Fresno. There are 4 venues down there, in case you didn't know about that. One of them is, of course, the big Selland Arena, and there are 3 others. We'll talk about it. We've got the CEO in the building today to talk about that. 436 MeTV option 11. Do not wade through the message and turn down the sound on your television set if you call in. Back with our guest in a moment. Hey, welcome back to the program here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. You're watching us live on this Tuesday morning, and if you can't watch us live, well, I guess you're watching us on the replay tonight at 7:30. Either or, it's going to be a good program today. Can't wait to talk about this, because anytime you talk about downtown Fresno, the calls come streaming in. Downtown Fresno seems to raise an eyebrow each and every time. It strikes a nerve, there's no question about it. Hey, you might recall about 10 years ago, I guess it was around 2004, when Alan Autry was the mayor of Fresno at that time, and he came up with the idea of outsourcing the convention center, Selland Arena, the Valdez Center, Soroyan Theater, to this company called SMG. Now, it sounds like something you put in your food, right? But SMG is a company out of Philadelphia. There's no question about it. It caused a major uproar at City Hall. You're going to do what? Outsource those things? You mean the city can't run them anymore? SMG has been running them for 10 years, but there's been a fight, a battle over how those facilities or venues should be run. Now the fight appears to be over. There's a council meeting on Thursday night to hash out a new deal. I want to take you to a full screen photo of what the convention center looks like. All right, we're going to stay on this for a moment because I want to talk about this. The fight was over money. Money, money, money. Day-to-day operations as well at the Fresno Convention Center, which also includes Selland, Soroyan, and the Valdez Hall. Now, for several years, Councilmember Lee Brand worried that these venues were putting a serious drain on the city. The finances, that is, to the tune of about $8 million. Since 2004, these facilities have been managed by SMG, a Philly-based company. Now, you want to check out the new deal? Let's put the new deal up. Here's what it consists of. The deal includes a $50,000 annual cut in SMG's management fee, a 5% cut in SMG's employee-related expenses, and an advisory board must be created to oversee the convention operations. That's right. Live in our studio right now is Layla Forstedt, the CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is created to try to promote all of these venues. We're going to talk about that and what major effect this has on downtown Fresno and how you can help and join the program. 436 MeTV option 11. Remember, you've got to turn down that sound or you won't hear us and we won't hear you. You'll just get on the phone and go, huh? What? We don't want that. We want your question. We're back with our guest and our program in just a moment. Huh? What?
Remember me?
After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels,
Ain't it the truth?
his name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Nothing slows him down.
I want to see this one firsthand.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Well, you don't have to turn down the sound if you're not calling in, or just before you call in, you might want to crank it down just a little bit. But it raises a furor every time you talk about downtown Fresno. Is it safe to go down there? Do we want to go down there? What's going on there? Why do I need to go downtown Fresno? There's nothing going on. And plus, I'm not going there at night. Well, you know, we've talked about this until we're blue in the face, and we're talking about it kind of again, but we're talking about these venues. Layla Forstedt is my guest today on Connect With Me. How are you, Layla?
Oh, great. How are you doing?
Great. I love your red jacket.
Thank you.
Beautiful. No question about it. Okay, so now you are the CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Correct.
Okay, that is separate from these 4 venues.
Yes.
It is a 501c3. It is a nonprofit. What does your organization do, and what's the affiliation to these 4 places, the venues?
Well, we're also a 501c6. We have
Okay.
2. We have a Research and Education Foundation, which is the 501c3, and we have 2 scholarship programs. We work with Fresno State interns. With the 501c6, which is the Convention and Visitors Bureau, our job is to promote this destination, the entire county, to the world. So visitors, we want people to come here to for sporting events, to see the national parks, but play and stay here in Fresno County. We know that tourism dollars are an answer to the budget problems.
But
so-
specifically to these 4 venues, what's your tie?
Yes, that's for conventions. We promote, well, we're funded by the hotels in the cities of Fresno and Clovis.
With a tax?
So, yes, well, it's a tourism business improvement district, so much like
Okay.
PBID, it's a T-bid.
How
And
much
so
of a
it's-
tax are we talking about here?
It's a 1% assessment that's charged to visitors when they stay in the hotels.
So that's how you,
That's how we're funded.
that's how you're funded, basically.
Yes.
So what do you do to try to promote, like Selland and the Convention Center and Soroyan?
So we have salespeople that have different markets, and we promote to associations for large conventions, religious groups, sporting events, and we try to get as many of those events down in Selland Arena, Soroyan Theater, which is a really easy sell. Soroyan is such a lovely place. Selland Exhibit Hall, the Valdez Hall, and we promote conventions and groups that will come here and stay in our hotels and spend money in our restaurants. So that's how we're connected, and we work very closely with the sales department at SMG.
Right.
Because we bring them here, and then they, of course, work with them and service them when they're here. So
Okay, I want to establish, too, before we get into the new deal with SMG and the city and all that stuff, we need to explain where we've been so we know where we're at now. And that is that, okay, these facilities here, it's like Selland Arena, for example. I mean, these facilities are like 50 years old.
Right.
Okay, so they do need upgrading, do they not?
They do.
What kind of upgrading are we talking about? What's Selland in need of?
yeah, I know there's been a recent audit of the buildings, and I
Right.
don't have the information on everything that's needed. I know there's some lighting for some bleachers and things like that. There was quite a bit of money a few years back put into Selland Arena, so that's been
What was
helpful.
done there?
I don't know the specifics on
all right.
that, but I do know that.
But is Selland, in other words, is it in need of a major facelift right now, or?
I think Selland Arena is in pretty good shape. I mean, it needs some
Okay.
lighting, but we've been able to promote that for conventions, and our convention attendees have been pretty happy. What's really great about this new recommendations is that the money that's being saved will be put back into the buildings, and I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Right, we're going to talk about that new deal. You're going to save quite a bit of money, more than $1
Yes.
million a year, according to some of the estimates that I've read. But
Mm-hmm.
what about the Convention Center, Soroyan Theater, Valdez Hall? Are they in need of any kind of upgrade?
Well, I think that the Soroyan Theater, a lot of money was put into the Soroyan Theater a few years back, and it's if you've been in it recently, it's beautiful. So I don't think that one so much. Valdez Hall is dated, and our new exhibit hall is now, I think, 13 years old or so. It
Yeah.
needs some, new carpeting, probably some upgrades, paint.
What
kind of
does
thing.
your organization, what do you specifically do to try to promote these events? Or not events, but these venues as a way of hosting an event?
Our most successful way is we do familiarization tours. We call them FAM tours, and we actually pay to bring people here to actually walk through our venues. We take them around to different attractions, and once they experience what we have here, they're sold.
Take a call here. Good morning. You're on Connect With Me. Your question.
Good morning. My question is, there's the talk of formation of an advisory board, an advisory council that's going to help with the, I guess, with the selection of entertainment acts that are going to appear or for future conventions, whatever. My question is,
that's not accurate. That's not correct. The advisory board does not do that. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But what's your question? Go ahead.
Well, my question is, isn't there one already? Don't we already have that advisory committee that gives ideas and a sounding board for future expansion and plans for the year? Isn't that already in place? Is that something? Sounds like it's a concession that they're willing to make. And we already have that. I mean, is that something that's in place now? That's my question.
Go ahead, pick it up.
I'm not aware of any advisory board like that, but the advisory board that they're speaking about is an advisory board that will oversee the operations, or will oversee SMG
basically,
operations.
The advisory board is going to hold SMG accountable for what's going on.
Yes.
And so you're still going to be in charge of trying to get events to these various venues. I know we got to go to break, but I want to put up some of these recommendations first, and we can look at them. There's a screen up there you can kind of look at and comment. These are some of the recommendations, and we'll get to, we're probably going to put this thing up twice. You can just kind of scan them, the viewers at home, right now. No need to read them off, but as you're looking at those, the biggest complaint against SMG was what? Money?
I think the biggest complaint, or I guess comment that I heard, was that they felt that the city was spending too much money and there was areas that could be saved money.
The money the city was basically losing too much money.
Right.
To the tune of $8, $9, $10 million bucks a year. And finally Lee Brandt stepped up and said, hey, we need to cut a new deal here. We're losing too much money. And SMG wasn't doing enough to get enough events. Is that correct?
I think it was probably a combination of, I haven't seen all the final, any of the audit.
But I'm talking about the complaints against SMG.
Right. Primarily it was, we need more business and we need to be more, spend money, I think less money.
And so what were these guys doing? Laying back in the easy chair, smoking a cigar? I mean, they need to be out there getting events, right?
Right, and that's what we do too. I mean, we work on getting the large, conventions and association groups, and they work on concerts and things like that. So
right. And so, to continue to drain the city finances was not the right thing to do. And so making this new deal, and we'll talk about that. We'll come back and talk about each of those bullet points on the recommendations. We are talking with the one and only Layla Forstedt. She is the CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. We're so glad she is here today. First time guest. And hey, your phone calls 436 MeTV, option 11. Turn down the sound on your TV set. Back in a moment.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Okay, got a call coming out of the break. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question.
Yes, John, to your guest, and does she have any charge of the new car show that was just recently being shown by chance?
No.
No. Explain again what your position is and what your responsibilities are to these four venues: Selland Convention Center, Soroyan Theater, and Valdez Hall.
Yeah, for those particular venues, we promote association group conventions, sporting events that will come here and spend the night, at least one night to two nights, in our hotels. So things that are more, where local people attend, a concert, that sort of thing, that is not what we book, or a car show, for example. Ours is more convention type sporting, large sporting events, something that will bring people from outside in.
Right.
So I think that's
right. Okay, let me set the scene here. Okay, the biggest complaint about SMG, that's the company that has been running these four venues for the last 10 years. SMG, not something you put in your food, but something that that's a company out of Philadelphia that's been running this show here for the last 10 years. Complaints came from the council and specifically Lee Brand saying, hey, you guys are draining our city finances to the tune of like $8-10 million a year. We can't afford that. Do something or we're going to have to renegotiate the contract or get rid of you guys altogether and get somebody else in here to run it. That's basically the crux of the complaint and the problem. So now there's a new deal that has been struck.
Yes.
And a council meeting is set for Thursday, isn't that right?
Yes.
Thursday evening, this coming Thursday, day after
morning.
tomorrow.
Actually, Thursday morning.
Oh, Thursday morning, to go over the finer details of this new deal in the contract. Let's put those back up on the screen, the recommendations. And those are very interesting. We can go over those point by point. Hello, here we are. Mandatory independent audit. Okay, let's go over these line by line. Keep that up there. Go ahead and explain that.
What they're asking for is that an audit is done, a mandatory audit. A mandatory
audit on what?
Probably most likely the facilities and the records, the reports, that sort of thing.
Mandatory internal city audit. What's the difference between the previous one and this one?
Well, one will be an outside auditor, not from the city,
Okay, so what if the two audits do not coincide?
That's a question you'll have to ask the city of Fresno. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
The city can choose its own general manager, which means the current general manager, what's his name, Overfelt?
William Overfelt.
Yeah, William Overfelt, Bill Overfelt. They can oust him and get a new guy if they want.
They could. I mean, they wanted that as an option, so I'm
that's
not
the
sure.
city's option. That's part of the deal, part of the new deal.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. The city is going to have more control. That's what Lee Brand wanted, more control to do what the city needs to do so they won't be drained of finances. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? The city has more control.
Oh, I think it's a good thing. The buildings are owned by the city. So,
right, but the city ran it before and then they handed it over to SMG. So.
Right, but it's anytime you outsource something like that, if you own those buildings, you should have control and know what's going on.
So
and
that's
so I
a
think
good
it's
thing.
a great thing. Yes,
that's
I do.
Because
it's very logical.
Because
they're the ones that owe the money on the debt,
right,
and so I would want control if I owned the building.
All right, I'm not sure I understand what this one. Contractor not to exceed annual budget. What does that mean?
That means they need to stay within their budget.
Okay, that's simple as that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The GM provides monthly reports to the city council. That's pretty self-explanatory. Then the general manager's got to come there once a month and say, okay, here are the financial statements. We're still losing about $3 million a month or whatever the case may be. Okay. Mandatory annual report to the council. That makes sense. All right. Want to establish a closer relationship with the Visitors Bureau, the contractor, and the city of Fresno. All of these make total sense.
Yes.
Why in the heck weren't these in place before? That's my question.
That's the question of the day. No.
You want to know the answer to that too, right?
Yeah. I'm just glad that it's moving forward, and you're right. Those are common things that I think most people have in place, and I don't know why. That would be a question again for the city.
I wonder if there's a deadline that the city council has set now. Do you know when they want to start seeing some improvement so they don't start? So they don't continue down this same path.
I'm sure will be discussed on Thursday.
Like a deadline?
I'm sure, yes.
Either we start seeing an uphill climb or else you're right. Okay, now Lee Brand said, how much money is this going to save the city a year, roughly speaking?
I think the first year he was looking at about $600,000 to $700,000 a year.
Okay, and the second year?
Hopefully more. I think he was trying to get to $1 million a year savings, but I'm not sure they do all have to agree to that Thursday, and I know SMG. I was at those meetings, and they were more than willing to do all those things. So I don't.
Well,
foresee
they know they
any
have
problem.
to do it, or they're going to be out, right? I mean, the city could say bye.
Nah, I'm not sure, but
yeah. Do you think SMG was doing a good job, or do you think they need a lot of improvement?
I think that we can always use improvement, and I think that we should always be transparent. I don't see their reports. I mean, until this, so I can't say, one way or another. We work with the sales department primarily. Our salespeople work with their salespeople, and we work really well together. So, and we know what we need to do to get those buildings sold. So that's our relationship is more on the sales side.
What's going to stop the bleeding financially? Is getting more events in these venues?
More events for sure. Yes.
Has the city put more pressure on you guys too to try to promote these events or events that may come in?
No, we actually they even had a suggestion of maybe giving us some sort of a commission to bring in new events, which would be great because our budget is really strained. But we put in 5 years we put $26 million worth of business in there. So that's
wow.
Yeah,
that's quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Another call coming in. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question.
Hi. Once these changes come in, what are they going to do to change security down there? Because there's been venues that have gone down there, and as soon as I cross the street, I no longer feel safe.
That's a good question.
I didn't. What was
security? What are you going to do to try to improve security down at some of those venues because he doesn't feel safe in going down there at night? Something that I talked about, of course, in the monologue.
Yeah, I honestly, the groups that we've had in, we have not had any complaints about security. We generally have security down there whenever there's events.
What kind of security do you guys have down there?
We don't provide the security. SMG does, so that's part of the
right. But what kind of security
contract
is down there now that you know of? Is it private or is it city or?
Private.
It's private.
Yes. Yes, and then you have the police that are down. A lot of times when there's large groups, conventions down, if they're able to, sometimes they're even down on the horseback, which is really great. People feel really good about that. Yeah. We really haven't had a lot of complaints about that. So.
Right.
I think the people that live here are more afraid of downtown. I don't know because I've traveled a lot in this job and I've been to a lot of downtowns and they have homeless people, they have transients, they have they have the same things we have, and people go downtown Indianapolis all the time. They go downtown San Francisco all the time. They go,
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but you cannot compare downtown Fresno with San Francisco, nor can you compare it to Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yeah.
Yeah, Indianapolis. I mean, those are two beautiful downtown areas.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wouldn't exactly
I've been down
call
there.
ours beautiful.
Well, we're working on it. So.
I know.
Yeah, we are.
I know.
But when we have conventions and events going on down there, there's lots of people, and to me, I see the same thing. But I stayed in downtown Indianapolis and took a walk out, and I wasn't impressed. So San Francisco, yes, but Indianapolis.
Well, have you been to Indy recently?
It was about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, near the.
They've done a lot of improvements there.
Right.
And they've got the
for
race
sporting
there, obviously. Yeah.
Events.
Yeah, sporting events.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, we're talking with Layla Forstedt, the CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau here on Connect with Me. A very lively conversation that I know that you want to join. 436 MeTV option 11. Turn down the sound, and we're back in just a moment.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right, from the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Are you afraid, ladies and gentlemen, afraid to go to downtown Fresno at night? Are you just scared out of your wits? Should we be?
No.
That's the perception. You know that. I mean, it's hard to get rid of that.
It is.
Especially if you've got, your kids are grown, but if you've got small kids and you want to go down there for the, I don't know, what is it called now? Disney on Ice? Whatever it is. And you want to go down at night, you want to feel safe.
It's always sold out. It's always sold out.
It's always sold out, really. That just happened, by the way, didn't it? Or
it did.
Disney on Ice. And what other event? Did you have the circus there over the summer?
The circus is always in the summer, the first part of July, and that's always sold out. The ice skating downtown is right now, and I just went by there last night, and it was full of people.
Right.
So I'm happy to know that, too. So.
Right. Okay. We have to address this topic, and that is when the Save Mart Center was built over at Fresno State, it took away a lot of business, right, from downtown, from those 4 venues. There's no question.
Correct, yes.
How much business would you say? How much of a stake to the heart was that, in your opinion?
Well, I don't know because, concert-wise, they do a lot, but I think where there is, and I will say there is a conflict, is when Save Mart put that curtain in and made it so they can take smaller concerts, and I do believe that was not a good thing because up until then, I think we were selling totally different things at the other venues downtown. So, a convention center is a convention center. I mean, we don't put conventions at the Save Mart Center. So, we sell those facilities for what they are.
But you can put concerts there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
Save Mart has taken away a lot of concerts from you guys. There's no question about it. So it is. You look at them. You have to look at them as competition, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Well, more so for SMG. So it's
See,
SMG and SMG.
Here's the thing. SMG also runs that place.
Correct. So the competition is between them.
Yeah.
Because we
so
don't
how do you know
sell
that
concerts.
SMG isn't favoring one over the other?
Yeah.
That's not your problem.
That's not my, yeah.
You can't worry about that. You just have to worry about getting your job done, right?
And we also have put events at the Save Mart Center.
Right.
But primarily most of our conventions are downtown.
Yeah, see, this is what doesn't pass the smell test with me, is SMG runs both. Why not get a different company to run that place out there? So there's competition. Okay, I'm trying to get this event, or I'm trying, it's like the Tonight Show and David Letterman, they're competing for guests.
Yeah.
Right? You can't have the same producer for each show, I don't know. To me, it's the same thing. I do want to put a photo up of the convention center, even though I do have a problem with that, still thinking about that. There is a picture of the convention center right there, Layla, up on your screen there. Talk about the convention center and what kind of events you're trying to attract there, if you would.
Our market is primarily, the size that we have, we promote to a lot of religious groups.
Okay.
Because our hotels here are still very affordable.
Like what?
And,
like a Billy Graham type event, or?
Yes, we have
even though
West
he's
Coast
not touring
Conference,
anymore?
but yes, those kind of Promise Keepers. There's a lot of different types of church
But
religious
you'd have
groups.
to do more than religious events.
We
though,
do,
right?
and then big conventions like you have Order of Eastern Star, and you have the that's still kind of fraternal.
Right.
There's Future Farmers of America. That's our largest convention.
Right.
Dental associations, a lot of associations. So we bring a lot of associations from Sacramento actually here for.
All right, a picture of the Soroyan Theater, and that's it right there. So what kind of events go in there?
Soroyan Theater, of course, the Philharmonic is in there. There's a lot of concerts, that sort of thing. We actually, with our large conventions, when we bring them in, they use all of the facilities.
Yeah.
So they'd have breakouts in different, maybe like a church, what do I want to say, not a mass, but, service, thank you.
A service,
As church service, they would go to Soroyan Theater for that. Then they would have their luncheon in the exhibit hall. So.
All right, Selland Arena, obviously sporting events, basketball, hockey. We just talked about the circus and what else?
We're
Disney
looking
on Ice.
right now. We're working with MMA.
What's that?
The martial arts.
Okay.
Some martial arts. We're looking at anything and everything that will fit
Any
in there.
sporting event
Wrestling
can go in there.
goes in
Wrestling,
there. We have
soccer, indoor soccer, indoor football.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And the last one, the Valdez Center. What goes in here?
Valdez is just a smaller size convention. We also do things like the California Restaurant Association for years did their big
So
Best
the
of the Valley.
Valdez Hall is basically a smaller version of the convention center.
Yes.
Okay.
It was our original convention center.
Right.
So we use
Ernie
that.
Valdez.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
And
know him.
there's rooms upstairs, breakout rooms. So it works really well for us.
Right. So is this thing going to be hashed out on Thursday?
Yes, I think
or
it's
will
going
it
to
take
be.
more than one meeting?
No, they've had several meetings, so I think this is going to be, the City Council has had several weeks now to look at the recommendations, and I think it's going to work out.
Okay. In 10 seconds, why is Fresno a good place to come to put an event at one of these venues? 10 seconds.
Because Fresno's a great place because of our central location, our weather, our venues, and our affordability.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank
you did
you.
a wonderful job, and the
Thank
half
you.
hour went by quick, didn't it?
It did.
It did. All right.
Thank you.
Layla Forstedt, the CEO of Convention and Visitors Bureau, downtown Fresno, and she's trying to help promote our city, our great city of Fresno. So help her out if you can. Anyway, that's our program for today. Connect with me tomorrow. Becky Cinema will run down some of the movies coming up next week for the holiday season. Thanksgiving upon us, of course. Have a great day. See you back here tomorrow.
Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187. Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like MeTV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.